Hello everybody, John12 back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you my review for Dragon Ball Super Episode 13. If you've not seen this episode, please go check it out because this review may contain spoilers. But with all that said and done, let's get into Dragon Ball Super Episode 13. Now, seeing as how last week's episode was kind of a very, I guess, disappointing episode, at least in my book. I know a lot of people enjoyed it and a lot of people liked it, but in my opinion, I found it to be very enjoyable. Is that so wrong to say out loud? But with all that said, this episode was kind of just the extension of last week's episode. We didn't really get that much said and done with it. It was kind of uneventful, but I don't think that's a real big deal because when I look at it in the high scheme of things, we are at the tail end, pretty much the final act of the Battle of God story arc. The manga has already started featuring and started off on the Resurrection F story arc. Based off certain things in the animation, I can already tell that we are already heading towards Resurrection F, so it makes sense that the last few episodes have been kind of uneventful. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this all ends and how this leads in to Resurrection F. But that being said, this episode is obviously the continuation of the Battle of Gods. Battle, of course, Beerus and Goku are still battling out. I think the very interesting thing is that it's kind of introduced in this episode that Beerus has really been holding a lot back. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things kind of culminate at the end of this whole kind of climax. And now that he's fighting at full power, it's going to be very interesting to see how things kind of go out after Goku, because in the manga, there's not really any real context as to, really why they had to end their fight. So that's going to be very interesting. I'm just really, really interested to see how it ends, because in the manga, the fight just goes on and then just stops, and that's kind of it. So I'm very, very, very interested to see how the anime kind of treats it. But overall, it was very interesting to see how everything kind of goes down. I actually really appreciated the comedy moments and the stakes that everything kind of really had. You can see that everybody's really invested in this one fight. The universe is invested. The Kais are invested. Freaking the Earth is invested. It's the fact that it still stands outside of this entire universal battle of God versus God still baffles me inside. I feel it's kind of illogical in and of itself, seeing as how the second those two guys punched each other, the planet should have just blown up. But, tomatoes, what are you going to do? At the end of the day, every character is really just rooting for Goku to try and finish off Beerus and try and end this fight. And it was really enjoyable to see, especially Hercule, because I know a lot of Hercule people aren't really big on him, and I fully understand why when something kind of pans towards his character, it kind of just feels very unnecessary, and you don't really need to do that. But I actually kind of enjoyed his moments. I feel like his moments kind of made this episode special in a way of he didn't really say anything that's overzealous or over the top in the terms of in a standard Hercule kind of scene. He kind of believes for a certain amount of time there where it's okay, I saved the day. But it's not really I saved the day because of my might and my strength. No, he saved the day because of his love for his family and the love of his new friends and stuff. So I really appreciate that, because it kind of makes you, have some kind of context as to how Hercule has kind of become part of the family, a part of the Dragon Ball family, if you will. Because after a certain point in this episode and this fight, Goku and Beerus have this kind of weird power struggle over this really interesting anomaly, and basically in the way that Whis and Old Kai and Supreme Kai kind of put it, if this power struggle ends, this more than likely will be the end of not only the planet Earth, but the entire universe. So pretty much the entire universe is at stake if this power struggle ends. Regardless of who wins, if Beerus beats it or Goku beats it, it doesn't matter. The entire universe will blow up, pretty much. So, a lot of stakes are at hand. And Whis kind of has this real, interesting moment where it's you know what, this is going to end. I'm sorry, but, this is the end of your world and possibly even the universe. So kudos to you. This is pretty much it. And I really like that moment where Hercule has his moment with Whis. And I'm just saying, that moment where he just, like, signs an autograph and just hands it to him, I'm just like, fuck yes. Hercule, he may not be my favorite character, and I'm pretty sure he's probably not a lot of people's favorite character, but kudos to Hercule saying, or Martin saying, where the fuck Toriyama wants to call him. Kudos to you, sir. You fucking killed it. But that being said, overall, in the whole scope of things, it was also very interesting to see other characters have something to do in the sidelines. Like Gohan and Piccolo. Like, those are two probably the most favorable main characters on the show, but they don't really get to do anything. So it was kind of cool to have them kind of have some kind of, input in the fight itself. Like, I like the moment where Gohan kind of, like, just shoots away and he's trying to protect Videl and his unborn daughter. And then you have Piccolo, who just, like, I love that real, that really ballsy fucking badass move where, like, before Whis tries to, like, try to fucking amps Gray, he fucking grabs him by the arm and he's like, hey, you better fucking fix this, bitch! Or something like that. Fucking badass. And of course that moment where Vegeta just blasts, is like, dude, let it go. It's like, it's okay. Goku, he got this. I think he got this. I know maybe he got this. It's kind of, I don't know what Vegeta's thinking, because, like, as much as I love Vegeta, I still find it kind of illogical that he's even watching anything. I don't know. He's like having a space out moment. I don't know. A lot of people still on the fence about that. A lot of people feel like, okay, well, maybe Vegeta's now a god. Who the hell knows? In my personal opinion, I feel like he's just looking at nothing. But now that Goku has no God Ki, and yes, he has no God Ki, then pretty much everyone can sense what the whole battle is going to be going down, especially at this tail end moment. So I guess it really doesn't even matter what the hell Vegeta's looking at anymore. But yes, without that said and done, Goku is not a god anymore. Yes, Battle of Gods pretty much, it was bound to happen sooner or later. I was just surprised that it happened at all. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. It doesn't really matter because this battle will be ending pretty soon. So, regardless of, who wins or loses, the Battle of God storyline is done. So there's not really much you can do after this, but I just thought it was very odd that at the last moments you decide to try to pull off what the movie tried to do, because, and here's my problem with that. And I'm not saying it's a big problem, but it's just something that I found odd. In the manga and in the anime of Dragon Ball Super, there's not really any context of what Dragon Ball. There's no real context on Super Saiyan God, so you don't really know the qualities and the bad qualities of that transformation. And if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've rewatched the episode, but back when Goku and the rest of the gang, wished upon, understanding Super Saiyan God from Shenron didn't really explain that, oh yeah, I don't like Super Saiyan God, I think that has a time limit, so yeah, if I were you, try to finish this fight in like 5 minutes. I don't think he said any of that. And I don't even think he said any of that in the manga. I could be wrong about that. I haven't rewatched, but I'm pretty sure, unlike the movie, in the show, they did not reference the fact that this transformation state has a time limit. However, in the middle of this episode, and pretty much in the middle of the fight between Beerus and Goku, after this whole power struggle does not destroy the universe or Earth, illogically, but whatever, it was just kind of interesting to find out that, bam, he just, converts right back into a Super Saiyan, a standard original Super Saiyan. So it was very odd to see that. I was really hoping it was not going to happen, and, I really knew it was, like, deep down inside, I knew it was going to happen, like 2 episodes ago, but, whatever, it happened, and it is what it is. Super Saiyan God is no more. In the way Beerus kind of explains it, pretty much how he kind of explained it in the movie, is essentially that Goku, I guess, in the midst of all this, power struggles, I guess, may have, like, transmitted some of that Super Saiyan God Ki inside of himself, so even though he's not technically a god anymore, he still has, the Super Saiyan God Ki, like, raging inside of himself. So that's pretty much the logic that Beerus kind of puts out there. And now that Beerus is going at, 100% of his full power, which is very interesting. I'm surprised the universe still stands, but whatever. And now that Goku's not a god, now that they're starting to battle each other, I'm just very interested to see how this ends. That's pretty much all I can really say, because that's just, like, that's a really odd way to end this. You know, I mean, like, now that they're fighting at full percent and now Goku's not a god anymore, it's just like, how is this going to end? And I really find it very interesting how it's going to compare against the manga, because they didn't even do this in the manga, if I'm not mistaken. Like, Goku was a straight up Super Saiyan god the entire time. He never, like, went back to Super Saiyan or went back to his base form. He was a straight up Super Saiyan god, and the fight just ends. Like, straight up, like, you know, like, okay, this is redundant. I enjoyed my time, sir. You still look stupid, whatever. Here's, you know, there's multiple universes. I'm just the god of this universe. And I think there's this guy called Champa. Okay, good luck with that, sir. Goodbye. That's kind of how it kind of ends. It's kind of really lame and, like, anticlimactic. So it's going to be very interesting how this compares to the manga and, of course, the movie itself. I'm pretty sure it's probably just going to end up, you know, doing the same thing the movie did. It's probably just going to end, like, in a stalemate. And, you know, and then, you know, Beerus will just say, like, his, you know, his last final moments is like, you know, Whis, you know, he's my mentor. He's also my teacher, all that kind of stuff. He looks after me. There's multiple universes, specifically Universe 6, which we should go to one day, you know, like, really quick. You know, when you're done with this whole Frieza thing, you know, like, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. It's gonna happen. I just really hope it's, you know, it makes sense. That's really all I can really say, because in the manga, it didn't make any sense, and in the movie, it's kind of at this point, kind of like whatever, you know, because at this point, you know, the entire show is kind of like redid that movie, so it's kind of irrelevant in and of itself, especially considering that we're at the end of the freaking movie and storyline as it is. But that being said, overall, I enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed it. It was very uneventful for me. I felt like they accomplished really nothing, and which is kind of odd. Like I keep, every time I watch an episode like this on Dragon Ball Super, I always feel like, how is it possible that you were able to span out an entire episode length? However, it feels like I didn't watch anything. I always kind of feel that with episodes like that, and I guess that has a lot to do with the fact that they spend so much time away from the fight, and when they're actually in the fight, it's usually like your standard power struggle or talking. You know, like, Beerus and Goku kind of talk a lot in this fight, and I guess that's kind of where I'm getting it from. But overall, it doesn't really matter. Next week will be the official end of the Battle of Gods. The Battle of Gods concludes. That's the official title of next week's episode. So, yeah, Battle of Gods story arc is officially over with, and I'm freaking happy and stoked, because I'm just saying, I said this last week, you know, like, I just want to be done with this so we can go right into Resurrection F, and then we can be done with that and go right into what we all really came to this show to, you know, to really witness, which is Universe 6. But all of that said and done, overall, I liked the episode. I thought it was decent. It was on the uneventful side, but it was still pretty decent. I liked the fight. The animation was awesome. The artwork is awesome. The effects were great. The battle itself was pretty interesting. Goku becoming a Super Saiyan again is very, very interesting. The moments that Gohan had with Videl and Piccolo with Whis was pretty cool. I like Hercule's moments. I thought that was pretty much the most, you know, hysterical moments. And, yeah, Whis, he just, I don't know what to say about him. He just really doesn't care. Or does he? I don't know. That's the weird thing about Whis. You just don't know about anything about him. He's just so weird and crazy looking, and he fucking likes a lot of food, and that's cool, but I don't know. It's just, I really hope at some point in this show they explain exactly what Whis is. Like, is he an alien? Is he a god? Is he, like, a figment of, like, is he like a Chaozu? Is he like a figment of our imagination? I don't know. I just want to know what he is. That's all I can really say. But overall, decent episode. I give it a 7 out of 10. Final verdict, 7 out of 10. I think that's a pretty conservative rating for this kind of episode. Thought it was pretty decent. And I think it's very interesting to see how everything kind of ends. But that being said, moving off of that, I just wanted to mention real quick before I end this review. Really interesting enough, besides the whole ending for Dragon Ball Super episode 14, the conclusion of the Battle of Gods story arc, and of course the conclusion of the Battle of Gods, they changed the ending the ending theme for Dragon Ball Super and the ending titles. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but that was pretty interesting. I actually didn't really, notice that they were actually going to do that so soon. And I want to know what everyone's thoughts on it. Like, I know overall, fans have their own, like, various opinions on the opening and ending titles of Dragon Ball Super. I personally loved them. I like the Dragon Ball Super opening. That's like my freaking ringtone. And I like the ending. I thought it was kind of cool. Like, every character, Goku and like everyone else is like, sitting down just watching the horizon and the ocean and stuff. I thought that was the sunset. That was a beautiful shot. I like that. But they changed it, and I also like that one too. I really do. Like, I love the animation. It was really pristine. I like the whole scope of like Goku and all the other characters like watching over the city. Like that shot of like Goku on top of that tower and he's like watching over the city like if he's freaking Superman or something. That was pretty cool. And all the other characters just like going on a picnic or whatever and driving. I don't know. I really like that kind of opening and ending. I wonder if they're going to do that for the opening too. But overall, I just wanted to mention that really quick because even though I liked it, I thought it was just very odd that they changed it. And the only reason I say it's odd because, like, the Battle of Gods story arc isn't officially done. Like, I feel like if you did this for, like, episode 14 or, like, even, like, especially for episode 15, then it would make sense because it's kind of like a spoiler almost where it's like some of the characters have already started taking their Resurrection F character designs. Like Bulma looks different. Some of the other characters kind of look different. It's just like, Gohan looks different. Like, it's just everybody's starting to look like Resurrection F characters, and it's just like, don't you think it's kind of like a little too soon? I mean, like, we're still not officially done. Like, next week, you could do that for sure because this is the end. This is the end of the Battle Gods arc. We are now officially transitioning into Resurrection F, but I don't know. I just thought it was a little too soon to feature the ending titles, but I still like it. I like the ending animation and I like the song itself. But overall, I just wanted to mention that real quick. Let me know what you personally think about that in the comments below, and of course about the episode as a whole. What are your personal thoughts on it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What are your personal thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on Goku going back into Super Saiyan? What are your thoughts on the battle between him and Lord Beerus? What are your personal thoughts on how it's going to end? And what are your personal thoughts on the sideline characters like Hercule's interaction with Whis, Piccolo and Vegeta's interactions with Whis, all those very interesting things. And of course, just let me know how you personally think the show is going to transition into Resurrection F. Do you think it's going to follow the manga, or do you think it's going to do its own thing? And what do you personally want to see out of the Resurrection F story arc now that we're officially transitioning into it? I want to know everyone's personal thoughts on what do you personally think is going to happen in Resurrection F section of Dragon Ball Super, and how it's going to differ from the movie, because based off what I've seen from the manga, yeah, the anime is definitely going to be different from the movie itself. But that being said, this has been my personal thoughts and review for Dragon Ball Super Episode 13. Comment below, let me know what you personally think about it. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jonctor12. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already, and I hope everyone has enjoyed. And this has been Jonctor12.